My husband verbally abuses me all the time. He's always saying the most insulting things about my cooking, my driving, my appearance, almost everything I do. You can't believe the stuff that comes out of his mouth. Sometimes I yell back at him, and we get into arguments. Other times my feelings are hurt and I just get quiet. I've read a little bit about real love, and I know I'm supposed to try to be loving, but I don't have to put up with him abusing me, right? Why should I have to tolerate this?
Your husband's behavior is unkind, unloving, and dead wrong. You're quite right about that. No doubt whatever. But that's really not the important point. And that's precisely where you get stuck over and over again. You remind me of the story of the man who called the street department of the town where he lived every day to complain that on his way home from work, he got his car stuck in this great big pothole about a half a mile from his house. So then he had to walk home and get a set of chains and a winch to hook to a nearby tree to pull his car out of the pothole, along with the mud and the water in the pothole. And he wanted somebody down there at the street department to know that he was sick and tired of doing that every dang day. Well, the poor receptionist dutifully took down his complaints every day, but she knew the street department was badly behind in its repairs, and she knew it would be a while before they got out there. She tried to explain that to the man, but he called back every day to complain anyway, angrier every day about having to pull his car out of that pothole. Finally, one day, the supervisor happened by while he was on the phone with the receptionist, and the supervisor took the phone out of her hand and asked the obvious question, "Why don't you just drive your car on the other side of the road for a while and stay out of the pothole until we come out there and do something to fix it?" And I'm suggesting something like that to you now. It doesn't make much sense to argue with a pothole, and yet that's just what the man in the story was doing. Every day he'd drive down that road and somehow expect that pothole to move. When it didn't, he'd drive right into it. When that didn't work, he'd argue with people who obviously didn't have the capacity to change their behavior at the time. When it comes to understanding what's going on in his life right now, your husband isn't much smarter than a pothole. That's not an accusation, just a description. He's obviously empty and afraid. He treats you badly only because it gives him a brief sense of power that fills up his emptiness for a few seconds. Then you figure if you yell back at him, which screams the message, "I don't love you either," that will somehow make things better? You figure if you drive your entire car into the ditch right up to the roof, that will make everybody happy? How's that work so far? Not so good, right? So, what can you do here? Let's talk about that in our next session.